Hey everyone, Austin with Paragon City Games here again for another walkthrough Wednesday with you. This week we've got another double header. We're going to be talking about Roll For It, and we're also going to be talking about Quoridor. These games are pretty simple, they're pretty easy to learn, and they're a ton of fun to play. So we're going to start with Roll For It. So Roll For It is a game where you're rolling dice. So everybody's going to have 6 dice of different colors, and you're going to try to roll the dice that match what's on the card. Now when you play, there's going to be 3 cards set out in front of you, and each will have different amount of dice and will also require different numbers on those dice in order to achieve them. So on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to take your dice, you're going to shake them up, you're going to roll them. Now they're going to come out with a bunch of different numbers, and you're going to try to match what's on the card. So for example, this one, I need 2 2s and 2 4s. So I'm going to take both my 2s, put them up here, and I'm going to put my 4 right here. Now I don't have enough to get what's on the card, and that's okay. I can roll the next turn to see if I can get the last one that I need. Now everybody else can do this as well, and you can stack your dice up on top of the cards, which essentially says this is what I'm shooting for. Now let's say goes around, everyone rolls. It's my turn again. Got my 3 dice. I roll again. Boom. Got my last 4. This card is now mine because I have all the dice on here that match. So this will be mine. I get points for this. Flip another card over, take your dice back. Now, let's say that you start rolling for something and you realize that you don't want to roll for that one anymore. So let's say I'm rolling for this one, and my turn comes back around and I say, you know what? I don't really want to roll for this one. I want to roll for this other one. Before you roll, you're going to take your dice back, and then you can roll again. The first person to 40 points is going to win. The points are going to be determined they're going to be determined on the card that you have. So for example, this one was worth 10 points. These ones are going to be worth 5. Some will be worth 15. Some will be worth less than that. But you keep playing until somebody hits 40. And then when you're done with that, shuffle the cards back up, give the dice back out, start over again. And that's Roll For It. All right, everyone. So the second game that we're going to be talking about today is Quoridor. Now this is a game where you're trying to get your pawn to the other side of the board while inhibiting your opponent's progress towards your side of the board. Now the way you're going to do this is you have these little wooden pieces that are called fences, and you use them to block the progress of your opponent. Now the one rule with these is that you can't completely wall off your opponent, so you can't get them stuck in a corner to where they can't move anymore. You can't put a square around them so they can't move anymore. They have to still be able to move forward, but you're trying to prevent them from doing so. So on your turn, you can do one of 2 things. You can either move your piece, or you can put a fence up. Now the rules for moving your pieces are you can move 1 space forward, 1 space backwards, 1 space to the right, 1 space to the left. There's no diagonal movements in this game unless you are fenced up against your opponent, and then that's a special rule. If you want to use a fence, the rule for that is that you'll take one of your fence pieces, as long as you still have one available, and you'll put it on 2 squares. So you can't put it and try to block off 3 different squares. It has to line up with 2 squares because these pieces are long enough to fit with 2 squares. And then you'll kind of wall off your opponent that way. So let's say as we keep playing, we're going to eventually run out of these fence pieces. Well, when that's the case, you have to move. You have to keep moving because you have no more fence pieces to put up. Now let's say we get in a situation where I'm in front of my opponent and I want to move past them. Well, instead of going around them, you are actually allowed to jump up and over them. So that gives you an extra move. It gives you an extra space when you move if your opponent is in the way, or if you guys are fenced in and need to move around each other. So that way, again, you can't use your piece or your fences to block your opponent's progression. So the way you win the game is your piece makes it to the other edge. Doesn't matter where, just the other edge of the board. Now there is also a 4-player variation where they will also start off on the other edges, and they'll try to move to the opposite edge of their opponent as well while trying to maneuver through you guys. So that's Roll For It, and that's Quoridor. These games are a ton of fun. They're really easy, really simple, really quick to play. So if you're looking for a game to play in between games, or a fun, relaxing game where you only have 10 to 20 minutes to play, these would definitely be the best games for that. Roll For It can be played between 2 to 8 people if you get the deluxe version. Otherwise, it's 2 to 4. and Quoridor can be played between 2 to 4 people. We recommend people play it who are 8 years and up. And like I said, they're pretty quick, pretty simple, about 15 minutes to play these games. If you have any questions or you want to reach out to us, feel free to reach us at 801 Paragon or to reach out to us on Facebook. Thanks, and we'll see you guys next week.